Money FM 89.3, the best of the afternoon update.
Welcome to Industry Insight, where we bring you insights into industries that shape Singapore and Southeast Asia. I'm Lynn Lee, and today we're diving into the yachting industry, a sector experiencing rapid growth in Asia, with Singapore emerging as a major player on the global stage. Joining us today is Jonathan Sitt, Regional General Manager, Marina Division at SUTL Enterprise, the only marina business listed on the Singapore Exchange, and a key developer of world-class marina infrastructure. Jonathan, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Great to have you here. Jonathan, let's start with the big event, Singapore Yachting Festival 2025. It has now solidified its position as one of the world's top 10 yacht shows. What can we expect this year?
Sure. So it's going to be the biggest Singapore Yachting Festival that we have to date. This is going to be our third edition. So this year, what is special is apart from having 70 vessels that will be on water, including one of the biggest ones built in Australia, a 56-meter catamaran. That's the biggest catamaran ever built in Australia. It's going to be featured at the show. We have also added 13,000 square foot of exhibition space on land. So unlike last year where we've concentrated on the water, we've brought the land elements to the show because there's so much demand. There's so much more things from our suppliers who want to showcase. And we've had a lot of attention from different luxury travel agencies as well as destinations that have requested to feature their products at the event because there's just so much complementary overlap in terms of our demographic. So that's great to see. We're expecting to have around 13,000 visitors at the show as well. But as we were having a chat, the weather, we hope it holds up so that it is an outdoor event. But we do have a big 13,000 square foot sheltered area with air conditioning that would house most of the attendees as well.
Would this be the biggest yet?
Yes, this is the biggest yet for the Singapore Yachting Festival. So this year, we've added a few more elements. We've had a Superyacht dedicated zone with a Superyacht Lounge where sponsors like Diamond have come in to feature their products as well, which we're very excited about. Okay,
and what are the major highlights we can look forward to?
Sure. So at the show, there are 70 vessels. We're expecting actually 15 Asia-Pacific yacht premieres, which is fantastic for the event. So it's great to see that the brands are looking to launch the hottest products at this event because there is so much attention at this event. And it has historically been a show that is great for transactions of yachts. So we're happy to see the support from our brands. On top of that, we are seeing a lot more on the eco side. So we have got a Green Line who's featuring 2 debuts at the event. And with one of the vessels, they're actually tripling the solar panel capacity on the vessel, or the output, I should say, which is very exciting as everyone's looking to see how do we green this industry.
Well, certainly reinforcing Singapore's status as a key launch pad for luxury yachts in the region, and a big moment too for the industry. And I think it's a pretty major endorsement of Singapore's role in the luxury yacht industry as well. And this year I've heard that JP Morgan Private Bank has come on board as the official bank partner. So what does this partnership mean for the festival?
It's really great for the event because we're linking JP Morgan with boat owners and potential boat owners. So this partnership has multiple prongs, but the main one is JP Morgan is a reputable, more than reputable, a well-known lender for yachts as well as super yachts. So, of course, they do have a big client database that is looking into purchasing more assets in these areas. And it's a great opportunity for us to link the Superyacht brands to the clients there to JP Morgan. And apart from that, I mean, because we have JP Morgan support, we are also increasing the level of luxury that is seen in the VIP lounges and areas that they are going to be servicing their clients. And it's great to see the support from private banks as well.
Well, certainly elevates the festival beyond just the showcase with all these high net worth individuals coming to town attending the festival.
Absolutely.
Now, Singapore is known as a global financial hub, Jonathan, but is now also being recognized as a major yachting hub. What makes Singapore such a strategic location for the global yachting industry?
We're very lucky. We are strategically placed. Left, right, center from us, we have got Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand. All of these areas have fantastic, pristine cruising grounds that are very exciting and accessible. And what we've seen is that a lot of people choose Singapore as a launch pad. They may keep their vessels here, they might purchase them here, and then when there are holidays or when, depending on the different seasons, they use Singapore as a gateway to go into these areas. We've seen that from clients who will take holidays, launch from Singapore, and we've also seen superyachts who use Singapore as the hub to do reservicing, crew changes, and all that because there is such a rich supply chain that can help with that. And a lot of people who need to do crew changes choose Singapore because we've got one of the best airports, right? And they know things are going to reach here on time. They know for sure there won't be any delays, and it's a safe haven for a lot of folks.
Just out of curiosity, Jonathan, what's the typical maritime route for super yachts cruising through Singapore and Southeast Asia?
Well, there's so many. So in Marina, we've literally had vessels that come in all the way from the US, from Florida, actually. So they've really crossed over everything to come here. But traditionally, what has been happening is from Europe, they go through Suez Canal and then through, they'll pass through all the different beautiful places in Maldives and etc. And then they'll reach Singapore. And from Singapore, this is an area that they refuel, reprovision, and then they make another big push all the way through Indonesia down to Australia, for example, and beyond. And because the seasons are opposite, right? So there are times when Australia is in winter, then they move up to the mid and etc., and vice versa, I should say.
Wow. Coming back to Singapore's role in the yachting industry, do you think that the business and tax environment that Singapore offers is actually making it an attractive base for yacht ownership and management?
Absolutely. And I think in Singapore, the taxes are still attractive. The level of taxes are still attractive for yacht owners. We've seen a lot of family offices that have moved assets into Singapore. And along with it, we've seen assets like vessels that have been moved into Singapore, which has grown quite quickly in the last few years. So we are seeing that people are also looking at Singapore as a safe area where there's clear governance, non-corruption, very clean governments. So people do see that as a very important consideration when purchasing such a high-value asset.
You're saying that we're seeing a very rapid rise in yacht ownership and chartering across the region. Give us a sense of who's entering the market.
Sure. And I can share with you some demographic. And it's interesting because in the past, super yacht owners typically are people who are older. There's some people who have made it very successful careers and in their 60s and they're buying these super yachts. But what we're seeing from all the brands are that people as young as in the mid-30s are now looking at these vessels. And in the past, the first vessels are typically 60 foot and below, and we've seen some new purchases that are beyond that and bigger than that. So the industry has really evolved, and there's an interest which is in line with what we see in other hospitality industries where people are looking for experiences. People are now looking at not just going to a destination, but how they get there and what kind of unique experiences can they get. And you can achieve that on a yacht or on a charter because firstly, it's very private. It's just you and your family and friends. You can do whatever you want and you can hide from the crowds if you want to. You can go to areas that no one else can get to. So that has been very important. And we've seen that as a big factor in the rise of yacht charterings as well.
Well, sounds marvelous. Jonathan, you were mentioning about sustainability earlier. And let's talk a bit more about that. It's a big topic across not just the yachting industry, but many, many industries. So what are perhaps the latest innovations in this space, the eco-friendly solutions that we're seeing?
Sure, and it's constantly evolving. Of course, there's a joke that when people talk about sustainability in yachting, hey, remember the initial way of moving the vessels was wind. So we are seeing a rise in interest in sailing vessels as well. But I think the skill to sail a yacht is much harder than turning on an engine and learning how to drive it like a car, right? But we are seeing an interest in wind again, both commercial vessels as well as private vessels. But apart from that, of course, there's a big push for battery operated as well as new technology. So, for example, what we're seeing is for the smaller vessels, the ones that are like 30 foot and below, it's been becoming a lot more common to purchase battery operated engines, EV engines, and it's great because they're quiet, they're emission free, and we are seeing that there are some governments that are pushing these to be, for example, in the harbor or marinas, when you enter and exit, you'll only be allowed to use non-zero emission engines, which is great to see. We are also seeing new players like Nest in Singapore, who makes renewable diesel. So it's a new technology where in the past some boat owners may be resistant to use biodiesel because there is some organic compound in there that may be perceived to be damaging to the engines, and manufacturers in the past have been quite reluctant to allow for warranties to continue if you use biodiesels. But with this new technology from Nest, they're also looking to aviation fuel, where the organic compounds and the water content of these fuels are so low that it's comparable to traditional sources. So Nest is going to come down to our conference and explain this to all the manufacturers and engine manufacturers and boat owners and builders at the conference. And I think that will spark a lot of debate on how this is going to go. But this is what we need. We need conversations in this area to spark innovation.
Okay, in terms of responsible marine tourism, how does all that come to play?
Education is key. And I think in the past, what we have always tried to do, apart from the Singapore Yachting Festival, we also run an educational event called the Blue Water EduFest. And that event is really on ocean conservation. And what does that mean, right? When you go boating, don't just drop anchor in anywhere that you see fit. Think about what's below the water, right? You've got the reef there, you've got ecosystems in there, and people may not be doing it knowingly that, hey, every time you drop an anchor in these areas, you are damaging an ecosystem. So I think that is one way to tell people what not to do. And another one is to show when people can feel and can see the beautiful pristine waters and how it actually relates to people using the sea. If you're not responsible with it, that's not there to stay. Like if you want to go diving in the future, the reefs aren't going to be as pristine, and that is a problem, right? So I think with this, the education part is very important, and we are showcasing this to boaters as they take up boating as a new hobby.
Wonderful. Jonathan, for some of our listeners and myself, yachting might seem like just a luxury lifestyle sector, but are there business and investment opportunities in this industry we should know about?
Absolutely. And there are so many, actually. We have probably seen perhaps the most high-profile one would be a private equity firm, Blackstone, acquiring safe harbor marinas in the U.S. for about $5 billion. 5.6, I think it was. And in down in Australia, there is a fund called AMA Financials that is gathering funds to purchase more and more marinas. So we are seeing a lot of consolidation in this space. And what the investors are why they're interested in these spaces is because marinas traditionally have shown that there is very stable growth and predictable cash flow. And that has been very valued, especially in this current climate where things are quite volatile and in certain areas that are built up, like in Singapore, the berthing occupancies are quite high and it's stable. So there is a high level of predictability and recurring revenues in these areas. So there is opportunities for people who may not even be looking into buying vessels to invest in this industry, including on the stock market. So I think the industry is definitely growing in this aspect, and it's gaining a lot of attention in recent years.
Okay, for seasoned investors, what is it they're looking for and what's attracting their interest at the moment?
Well, it's really steady cash flows in these areas and the opportunity to consolidate and repackage and to resell these assets. In the past, a lot of these marinas have been mom and pop operations, and there has been opportunities for big marina operators to come in and look at how to make it more efficient and perhaps repackage it for further growth. And that is one element of it. And another element would be the actual growth in this industry. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of people are buying vessels younger. So we are seeing that the supply of berthing spaces is not being able to keep up with the demand of new vessel requirements. And we've got big events, even in Australia and Brisbane for the Olympic that's upcoming. I think they predicted that they're going to attract around 200 super yachts that are going into the Gold Coast areas, but they probably have capacity for maybe less than half of those. So I think everyone is still scrambling to see how do we monetize and take advantage of this phenomenon that's going to happen in another less than 10 years, actually.
Not to mention, I would imagine the newer vessels would be, equipped with marine tech and new innovation, perhaps AI-powered navigation tools and all that.
Yes, and the possibilities are endless, right? We're seeing all these new AI technology that's going to vessels and in cars, and I can't imagine that they won't be doing the same on boats. Very exciting times. So I think the skill, the experience part of it could change. You may dare to go further and into more secluded places with the aid of these technology rather than relying on your own navigational skills like we do currently.
Wonderful. And I'm sure the Singapore Yachting Festival will be providing the perfect platform, to connect with global industry leaders and investors and potential clients as well. Before we wrap up, Jonathan, what's your message to business leaders, yacht enthusiasts, and potential investors attending the Singapore Yachting Festival?
I would say, well, the event is on the 10th to 13th. Please come by. I think the yachting industry is still in its infancy in Singapore. There is so much to learn about, and you can see how diverse the industry is. There is a misconception that yachting is only for the rich and famous, for example, but it's really not. There are smaller vessels that are very affordable, and the truth is this industry benefits the supply chain. There's a massive industry that goes behind supplying this industry. And these are normal folks that are not the rich and famous. They're helping this industry grow, and the economic benefit of this industry is massive. And I think for everyone who come down to see the show, you'll see that there are different elements that could be interesting to you.
Fantastic. Jonathan, thanks so much for joining us today and sharing your insights into this industry.
Thank you.
He is Jonathan Sitt, Regional General Manager, Marina Division at SUTL Enterprise, the only marina business listed on the Singapore Exchange, as well as a key developer of world-class marina infrastructure. You've been listening to Industry Insight on Money FM 89.3. I'm Lin Lee.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.